let's get into the big topic of open source, something that we actually say at Red Hat.
This is so awesome.
We are an open culture that believes
It's actually
in
a big
importance of
piece
What is that process that a developer, or let's say,
as the Kubernetes ecosystem really boomed.
Hello and welcome to this week's Ask an OpenShift Admin Office Hours live stream. I am co-host Andrew Sullivan, joined as always by the other co-host, Mr. Jonny Rickard. How are you today, sir?
Oh man, I'm good to go. How are you?
I can't complain. I got to call you out though. Just a moment ago, I learned that you've switched over to the Apple ecosystem. I've known you for a long time. I feel betrayed. I feel betrayed.
It took a long time, and it took a lot of we'll call it influence from the family side, because of group text and everything like that, where I couldn't because I was SMS, not the whatever iPhone uses. So
you were the reason why everybody's iChat or iMessage chat groups were broken.
Yes, and I just, for the record, I love the Pixel phone. I think it's the best phone ever. I really don't care for this phone too much, but it's part of the Apple ecosystem. It made the family happy, and I'm that sucks.
Welcome to the cult. Party.
Yes. It honestly, if they would have never switched to USB-C, I would have never made the change, because when I was traveling, the last thing I wanted to do was carry around
Another
8 different cables. Yep. Yeah, and so I stuck to it. That was on principle. I would not switch phones for that reason, and then they switched to USB-C, so it's all right, well, I don't have any more excuses. So
yeah. Well, I'm welcome to the dark side, or say goodbye to the other side. However you want to think of it, but
yes.
I give you a hard time. I made that conversion a few years ago as well. It was long.
It's tough. It's cool how it all integrates together. The one thing I think that you did that I was really jealous of is where you could go and do the do not disturb in one place, and it would proliferate across all your devices. That's dope.
Except for me, because I refuse to use my personal logins with the corporate laptop. So it's actually two separate ones. But
okay, gotcha.
Anyways, hello to everyone who's joined us today. So thank you for participating in another Ask an OpenShift Admin live stream. So just for a frame of reference here, so this is one of the office hours live streams here on Red Hat Live Streaming, which means that we are here to talk about, answer, any questions that you have about OpenShift broadly, not just what's related to this topic. So don't hesitate to put your questions in the chat, regardless of what platform you're watching us on. They get rebroadcast across, and we will see those. We will do our best to answer those in a timely manner. If you're not watching us live, feel free to reach out to us. Both Jonny and I have our email here on the screen. If you're only listening to us, I know there's a fair number of people who listen to us like a podcast. It's easy to find us, Jonny, Jonny, at redhat.com, or Sully, Sully, at redhat.com. So we are always happy to get questions, always happy to hear from y'all, whether it's, hey, it'd be great if we talked about this. I think we've gotten a couple of those in the last week or two, haven't you, Jonny?
Yep.
Or it's, hey, you said this wrong. We love those. Those are learning opportunities. And even this morning, I was corrected by one of our engineers in Slack because I misunderstood what the purpose of a particular flag was for. He's like, no, you are incorrect. This is what that means. We love getting those, and thank you. That being said, today's topic is something that is near and dear to my heart. Many moons ago, I was over on that side of things, and that would be NetApp Trident. All of the things that are happening there. So we are joined by Luis from the NetApp side to talk about all of the things that are happening within that ecosystem. So Luis, I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself, and then we'll quickly talk about top of mind.
Yeah, thank you, Sully. Thank you, Jonny. Very happy to be here. My name is Luis Rico. I'm product manager for Kubernetes data management inside NetApp. And yes, I'm also in the dark side of iPhone, Mac, and all these things. So I guess, Jonny, welcome. Okay, to the dark side. Things.
Thank you.
It's funny that you bring that up, because only recently have I started using a Mac for my work laptop. For a long time, I had Fedora. I was using Fedora for my work laptop. It worked phenomenally because everything we do is browser based, and it was great for just all of the CLI stuff that I was doing. And I wanted that sweet, sweet battery life and made the change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Working on airplanes is hard when you don't have any battery.
100%. What I noticed too is like and I'm sorry, we're digressing here, but like back in the day when I was traveling a lot, like I would go and trying to use a Fedora in like a customer environment where you're trying to hook into like their AV system. It was just hit or miss in some environments. So like the Mac is much more like, it just works a lot better. You could go and actually plug in as long as you had all the right connectors and dongles and crap.
Yeah, now you're living the dongle life. Yep.
Yeah, man. I got like a little pack that I carry with me that's got all the extra crap that I need from my architect days. So, yes. So I used to carry 2 laptops, my Fedora laptop and my Mac, and now it's just Mac.
Yeah. All right. What have we got for top of mind, Jonny? I don't think we have a lot this week.
Yeah, not really. I was trying to go back and look. I've been crazy busy this week, so like I haven't had a chance to dig in. But one thing is next week's topic is it's along the GitOps upgrades and stuff like that with the new version of the operator that are coming out. So Gerald Nunn and Ali are going to come on. I'm waiting to confirm, but like they set everything up, so I'm pretty confident that they're going to be here. But that's the potential topic for next week is that we're going to have some GitOps stuff. So.
I hear GitOps is a thing. Apparently we're doing stuff.
Yeah, it's fairly new. It came out yesterday. So like.
If only there was a live stream, I could go and learn more about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know something like GitOps and a Galaxy. GitOps got to be together. I don't know.
So,
also a good live stream.
In case you didn't know, in case you didn't know, we're talking tongue in cheek about Jonny's other live stream, which is the GitOps Guide to the Galaxy. Jonny and Hillary do that one. It's every other week now, right?
Every other week, yeah, and it's really Hillary. Yeah. She loves it. Like we love it. It's awesome, but she is definitely like the ringleader.
Does that make you the circus elephant? Like,
I'm the circus elephant. Yes.
All right. Well, I also have been quite busy, so I haven't caught up on any of the stuff. My inbox is sitting at a terrifying 43 right now, and Slack is, well, as I'm watching it, it's going from 23 to 24 to 25. So it's just been one of those days. I had somebody reach out to me this morning, and they're like, "Oh, I want to put a meeting on your calendar, but you have no time until like 2 weeks from now." Like, yeah, well, c'est la vie. Such is life.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's talk about NetApp. So I alluded earlier to, I used to, NetApp is near and dear to my heart. I work for Red Hat now, so I love all of our storage partners equally, but I used to work for NetApp. So I used to, and Jonny, you knew this, we worked, you never worked for NetApp, but I was one of the NetApp admins back when we did work together. And
yep.
So I'm always excited and interested to see what our storage partners are doing. And NetApp, my history there, and the reason why it's so near and dear to me is like NetApp sent me to the very first CNCF meeting up in New York City, back when it was held in conjunction with CoreOS, back when it was standalone CoreOS, not CoreOS acquired by Red Hat. CoreOS hosted it at the New York Times building there. So I feel very fortunate, and I was there representing storage along with 1 or 2 other people, and listening to the adults in the room. Talk about all the stuff that was going on in CNCF and Kubernetes space. So lots of fond memories from all that other stuff.
That's a cool origin story.
Yeah. Anyways, I digress. I'm also going off on random tangents. So, Luis, let's talk about NetApp and Trident. Good stuff that's going on.
Yes, and Sully, it's funny, because I'm just in the opposite side. So I used to be a Red Hatter, okay, so working for Red Hat 3 years ago. So once a Red Hatter, always a Red Hatter. So same here, no? So Red Hat is in my heart, okay. So happy to be here and again working with you guys and collaborating with you, okay. So I would like to speak about a new shiny thing that we are going to provide in the next months, and is just adding data protection capabilities to Trident and announce something that we have been working on. Okay, so I don't know if it's possible to share some slides and then to put the background context and then move from there, because I would love to show a live demo of this shiny new thing, okay, that is basically inside Trident. Is that possible?
I think we got it up, right, Jonny?
Yep, I'll turn it on right now. You ready?
Yep. Yeah, so
Back for share.
Okay. So is this agenda visible?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, so I will go very quickly over the slides, no, because I want to dedicate more time to the live demo and all the questions that can come up. Okay, so very quickly, so as everybody maybe probably knows, NetApp is the intelligent data infrastructure company. So we are a storage company. We have been doing storage for 25, 30 years. And we have been providing storage, persistent storage for Kubernetes and OpenShift since the very beginning of the dynamic provisioning and the storage classes in the beginning of 2017 in OpenShift 3.4. Okay, so very quickly, NetApp is one of the possible, persistent storage for the data center and also for the public cloud. According to Gartner, we are doing good when we are integrating with containers and Kubernetes. This is the report of September 2023. In the October 2022, we were also, our storage arrays were in the top position of the ranking of enterprise storage vendors for Kubernetes. Okay, so we have basically Trident, no? And is quite well known, is our driver provisioner, okay, and it has been there, as I said, from OpenShift 3.4. When container storage interface appeared, NetApp participating in the development in the open source community for the CSI API and spec. So we have been, being compatible with CSI since the very beginning. We provide a beta in OpenShift 3.11. So with Trident is this our CSI driver to provide automatic provisioning, and the good thing and the reason why Gartner is positioning us so high is because with Trident we provide the same integration, the same experience integrating with Kubernetes and OpenShift on-premise and in the public cloud, no? Because we have our storage as a joint solution with the three main hyperscalers, with AWS, Azure, and Google, no? And we also have these cloud volumes on top, that is our software-defined storage available in the three hyperscalers, okay? So here you have a glimpse of what Trident provides, protocols, also access modes that we have been providing persistent storage to KubeVirt and OpenShift virtualization from the very beginning, and that we have a community operator in the operator hub, and we plan to make it a certified operator, okay? So what we are doing, yeah,
can
sure.
Can I step back for a moment, Luis?
Yeah, sure.
So a couple of things here, right? So I think, and I'm trying to remember back, like way back when, before CSI was a thing, right? There was the in-tree storage provisioners where, it was, or storage providers, I should say, right? So you could define an iSCSI or an NFS PV and that type of stuff. And CSI came along, and I want to say Trident was one of the first. It was super early into that and offered a way to do exactly what it says, right? Automatic storage provisioning against those, NetApp storage systems. And I don't know, does it work across the entire NetApp portfolio?
Yes. So Trident is the piece to connect any Kubernetes distribution, obviously including OpenShift, with any NetApp storage solution in the public cloud or on-premise. Okay, so yeah, it's the connecting piece. Okay, that do the magic to make the storage invisible and to make this dynamic provisioning that everybody loves in Kubernetes. Okay.
Yeah, and I know NetApp was one of the and now I'm forgetting names, but I know NetApp has been heavily involved in the upstream, storage SIG and driving forward things like, I think RWOP, the read-write only pods, was one that the NetApp folks were involved in. I know a lot of stuff at the protocol level. I know, I think y'all are involved in the snapshot groups thing as well.
Yeah, we have engineering in almost all the working groups, the data protection and the storage SIG. That's for that those two for sure. Okay, so yeah, we are actively participating in those.
Yeah, I highlight all that to point out that I think it's really awesome that NetApp, which you were at Red Hat, right? Red Hat, one of our big things is, everything's open source. We do everything community and upstream and all that other stuff. And NetApp is not, right? It's a proprietary product, as you would expect from most any storage offering. And it's really cool to see all of this stuff happening upstream and open source, and like NetApp really participating in the community there to help, broadly. I think that's really awesome, and it's something that I've always found commendable about the Trident team in NetApp.
Thank you for the compliment, I guess.
It very much meant to be a compliment, very much.
Okay, so really moving forward, what we are going to do in the next release of Trident is trying to introduce a new Trident. Okay, so for those of us that have been following us, we used to have Astra Control. This is a data protection, disaster recovery solution. It had a price. It was, costing some subscription model, and because for NetApp is Kubernetes and OpenShift is so strategic, we are going to remove that friction of pricing and having a paying product. Okay, so basically we are going to take all the core capabilities that were available in Astra Control, and we were going to add them to Trident to provide data protection, disaster recovery, and portability of Kubernetes applications in a free of charge way at no additional cost. Okay, so everybody can, enjoy more capabilities, more value for the customers that choose NetApp as the persistent storage solution for their OpenShift clusters. Okay, so this is the idea. We have been working in the Astra part for 1.5 years to make everything Kubernetes native, and this is the thing that we are going to launch now. So it will be these data protection capabilities at no cost and in a Kubernetes native way. Okay, so this module inside Trident is called Trident Protect. And is providing this data management for Kubernetes. So you will be able to do snapshots and application-aware snapshot, not only the CSI snapshot that you can do with Trident today, but also a snapshot of the entire multi-namespace application, saving in a snap not only the data of the persistent volumes, but also the metadata, all the Kubernetes resources. So you can not only restore the data of the persistent volumes, but a secret, a config map, or a deployment that somebody accidentally modified. Okay, we are going to provide also disaster recovery with a storage replication. That this is super cool, especially for the OpenShift virtualization thing, because the virtual machine disks in OpenShift virtualizations are getting bigger and bigger. Okay, and if you try to do traditional backup, is going to take many hours. So we are trying to speed up this thing with a storage replication in our own tap solution. Okay, and also
can I pause you for a second, though?
Yeah.
So there's a couple of questions, and one, our Hope 9, I'll point out that yes, I wish I could find an AI assistant to be like my calendar manager. That would be amazing. So our Hope 9 asked, it works across the portfolio except for DataGrid.
You mean storage grid, maybe, instead of data grid? So we have object storage solution that is called storage grid, providing object storage S3 through S3 protocol. Yeah, for a storage grid is not part yet of the dynamic provisioning of buckets. So we have been waiting for COSI, okay, the container object storage interface to become beta. That is unfortunately not happening because lack of collaboration. Okay, so this part we are not able to do yet. Okay, with Trident, the dynamic provisioning of object buckets as other solutions are able to provide. No, the IBM ODF is able to provide object bucket claims and object buckets in this dynamic provisioning way. We are waiting for COSI. As we see, is going to take too much time. Maybe we are deploying this on our own in a proprietary way, as for example, IBM ODF did. No? So we will see, but we are not covering if this is the question, the dynamic provisioning of buckets with Trident yet. Okay, so yeah, this is a very good question.
And then
Any more
the next question is about versioning. So the Trident versions, I think, still follow the year-month moniker. So
yes,
I don't know
right.
I don't know the release cadence, but Our Hope 9 brought up like the next one is going to be 24.10, which would theoretically imply that it is October of 2024 when it would be released.
That's exactly, yeah, that's correct. Okay, so we are following the year monthly in the number of the version, and we have reduced. We used to have 4 versions per year, and we have reduced to 3 versions of Trident per year to align with the Kubernetes and OpenShift GA of number of versions per year. Okay, so we don't have to stress ourselves more than the rest of the world in Kubernetes. Okay, so we are.
Why change the cadence?
The cadence is February, July, and October. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, why mix it up when you've already got something that everybody else is doing, right? Like why try and throw a wrench in and just get with the program? That's cool.
Okay.
And then, so the last question here, and I'm not sure I understand this question, or hope none. Primary storage class requirement for snapshots and limit of 250 per metro cluster is going away.
We are increasing the limits of the number of volumes in the metro cluster configuration. For the audience, metro cluster configuration is a way to stretch an ONTAP storage cluster. ONTAP is our operating system, and NetApp storage cluster. So between 2 data centers with synchronous replication and low latency, so you can have this kind of business continuity in case of a disaster in one of the data centers. So we are continuously increasing the limits of the metro cluster configuration with the new models of our storage arrays. To be honest, top of my head, I don't know, but 256 snapshots is very low. I believe we have more than that. Okay, but I don't know top of my mind.
Got it. And so Mark is asking, are there any plans to work with the Cozy community to create a NetApp S3 driver?
Yeah, as I said, normally we get working on creating the Cozy thing when it's beta. Unfortunately, didn't reach the beta status, and we were thinking in collaborate in this Cozy thing community, but to be honest, we didn't do that yet. Okay, so it's a good suggestion. So thank you for the suggestion. We are busy with this thing that I'm showing. So, but after we launch this, we can retake this Cozy to see how it goes. Okay, because to be honest, from the storage SIG people is just lack of collaborators testing Cozy heavily and providing pipelines to test and automate the testing of Cozy.
Got it. So I know you're getting ready to talk about data protection and disaster recovery and all that. And one of the things I want to point out is Kubernetes and OpenShift as well has no native or intrinsic feature or function for data protection. We have an add-on, OADP, that gives you effectively an API to extract those objects out. So, whatever the set of labels or whatever the common set of things, but you don't have to use that, in order to do those things. But also, and this is something that I'll say it sometimes bothers me of, we will often talk about features of ODF as though they are features of OpenShift. And in reality, like when we'll say, OpenShift disaster recovery, it's not OpenShift disaster recovery, it's ODF supports disaster recovery of OpenShift hosted applications. So I think it's really important to point out that, like with Trident and with the NetApp ecosystem, it's effectively the same thing. It's bringing the data protection and disaster recovery features of that underlying platform and supporting OpenShift hosted applications with that. And I think that's really cool. And I'm a huge advocate of like letting the storage partners highlight all of their intrinsic value and functionality and capabilities, right? SnapMirror and like all of these other things that the platform is able to do to make that fit better with whatever your applications are doing. So I really love to see and hear about the data protection, disaster recovery stuff, because I think it's really important, and it's something that we being Red Hat, being OpenShift, just don't do, right? And we really have to rely on our storage partners for that. And NetApp is a great example.
Thank you, Jonny. So this is the thing that we are announcing. No? So we are adding these Kubernetes workflows, Kubernetes native workflows based in custom resources to provide this data protection and disaster recovery. So with this new thing, you will be able to do through custom resources almost everything to provide this data protection. No? Define an application. It can be multi-namespace, namespace. You can filter the what you want to protect with labels or with group version kind filtering. You can define buckets to be the destination of your backups, your backup targets. You can do on-demand backups, on-demand snapshots, create schedules of snapshots and backups, restore the application. Also, we have a capability to provide execution hooks to do some actions in the pre-snapshot and post-snapshot, so you can freeze a database. So we are able to do that, and also maybe the most interesting thing is the storage replication part. So being able to establish replication with our own storage replication technology to speed up the data protection of big persistent volumes or large applications, and also automating the failover and failback. Okay, so if we go very quickly, because I want to move to the demo. The final application is now this kind of manifest that you are going to see during the demo, or doing a backup is just going to be this kind of manifest, backup schedule, defining the schedule. Or if you want to provide business continuity with SnapMirror, the Trident Protect part is going to automatically replicate all the persistent volumes in the application that I have defined. If it's 10 namespaces treated as one application and you have 100 persistent volumes, here Trident Protect will establish and take care of the storage replication for these 100 persistent volumes. Okay, if you have a problem, the Trident Protect will be able to automate the failover and the redeployment of all the Kubernetes resources and connected them to the replicated persistent volumes. Okay, so in this case, this kind of functionality, we are going to demo that is applying some manifest in the source cluster, some custom resources in the source cluster, like creating a source bucket, defining the source application, creating a scheduling of snapshots. In the destination cluster, we will create the source bucket to access the information of the metadata, the Kubernetes resources of the source cluster, create a destination bucket to provide more resiliency, and getting the metadata replicated between the two buckets, define the destination app where we want to do failover to, and then create the replication relationship that we call app mirror. Okay, when you want to do failover, it's going to be a Kubernetes native way. So you just edit the app mirror relationship and you change the desired state from established, the replication is established, to I want to promote, I want to use the replica volumes in the disaster recovery side. Okay, all of these things are going to be GA in October. So in the Trident 2410 release. Okay, and we have an early adopter program. So any customers that are interested in testing the pre-release bits of this thing can contact us. By the way, my email is luis.rico@netapp.com. Okay, so it's quite easy to recall. The live demo that I wanted to show is trying to provide business continuity for OpenShift with Trident. In fact, I'm using two OpenShift on-premise in different sites and doing replication between two NetApp storage systems, okay, to demonstrate how we can do replication and failover. I wanted to do this in ROSA. I had some problems lately with my security team in NetApp that they are killing the ROSA cluster as soon as I deploy them. And I wanted also to show this demo with an OpenShift virtualization virtual machine, okay, that we are able to do. But basically, we have two clusters, and we are going to establish the replication, and we are going to do failover. Okay.
And Jacob is
Any
asking
questions?
about RTO and RTO targets. Is there? I know we talked about Metro Cluster a bit ago. Metro Cluster is synchronous replication, so I think our PO would be our PO would be 0 then.
Yeah, with Metro Cluster, RPO is 0 because it's synchronous replication. What I'm going to show is the integration with Snap Mirror. Snap Mirror is our async replication, storage replication, and the RPO, minimum RPO is 5 minutes, okay? So with the solution that I'm going to show is 5 minutes RPO, and the RTO is the minutes that it takes for the Kubernetes resources to get redeployed in the destination cluster, okay? So it can be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever is the number of Kubernetes resources having to start up in the OpenShift cluster. So, okay, this is in my screen, you can see two tabs with the OpenShift console. So we have this OL03 OpenShift cluster, and we have other OL06 cluster. I'm sorry because the versions of these clusters are quite old, 4.11 in our engineering lab. Okay, and then we have the terminal.
Luis, I got two things for you. One, I know some people who might be able to help with that. But two, there's also a question from Andrew Bauman here. Does backup and restore workflows cover Kubernetes cluster migration use cases? The current documentation looks to cover using the Trident Cuddle or Trident Control Import command. Using a CR over Trident Control Import is great.
Yeah, so these are two different things, okay? So we still have Trident, and Trident is going to still provide the storage provisioning, and we can do this, is supporting the OpenShift upgrades and the upgrade of Trident itself, okay? What I'm going to show here is a new thing, no? Is this Trident Protect module of Trident, and this is the one that is providing the data protection piece, no? And if we check what is inside, this Trident Protect, you can see new things that were not there before. It's a different namespace, and you will see that we have a different pod just providing or being responsible of providing this data protection. So with this data protection, we can help doing blue-green upgrades because it's very easy to just clone an application that is running in an old version of OpenShift and deploy it in the new OpenShift cluster and check if everything goes well. And you can do that with your production application. Okay, so in some ways helping to that. No? So here you see that we have a different thing for our Trident users is this Trident Protect Controller Manager. And this Trident Protect Controller Manager is providing a complete new set of APIs. So if we do in this cluster, for example, an OC API resources, you can see that now this API has a lot of new shiny things, the protect trident.netapp.io API, like the way to define applications. App Vault is the destination bucket for our backups, or the App Mirror relationship is the Snap Mirror integration for Kubernetes applications to provide disaster recovery and business continuity, or a backup and restore, or the execution hooks that I was mentioning before, or for example, a way to schedule snapshots and backups for applications, okay, and or doing snapshots or restoring from a snapshot. No? So all these new custom resources are part of this new module of Trident that we refer to Trident Protect, and this is what is going to come in this new version of Trident in 24.10, okay, in October. Okay, so with these kind of things, you can have, for example, define buckets. For example, I have a source bucket here in my cluster. So I deploy this Trident Protect module in the two clusters. And I have created 2 buckets for Trident Protect to send the backups and the metadata of the snapshots outside of the cluster. So if I have any problem with the existing metadata, I can, for example, restore a secret, or I can restore a config map into a namespace. So you can see here, for example, these 2 buckets. For doing the Snap Mirror replication demo, I'm going to create, as it was required in the slide, a new destination. I'm going to create the source bucket in the destination cluster, so we can take a look about what is inside the manifest. Okay, so I'm defining in the API Protect Trident the App Vault kind. Okay, and I just providing a bucket in S3 that it has this name, is saying that this S3 bucket is in the Ireland region. So I'm using a bucket in AWS in Ireland to send the metadata and the backups of my Kubernetes cluster that is on premise in our engineering lab. And as you can see, yes, I have to provide the credentials from a secret that I previously created, okay? The access key and the secret key and this provider type that is AWS. We have also for Azure, Google, and all these kinds of things. So I'm going to create this source bucket in my destination cluster, just using the apply thing. Okay, so now we should have 2 buckets, the source bucket, so I can get in the destination clusters to all the things that are stored and saved from the source cluster. And I can also have access to the destination bucket where I store all the things that I'm protecting in my destination cluster. So in the top, source cluster, in the bottom, destination cluster, the same here that I will use later. So I'm going to, do this disaster recovery for an application that is already deployed. So you can see here that I have a very simple application, my SQL deployment, stateful application. So I have created this MySQL as a deployment with a persistent volume that is coming from our ONTAP NAS, that is our storage class used by Trident. You can see it here, that we have several storage class. The default storage class is the CSI Trident NetApp .io, our Trident provisioner. Okay, and I have created a MySQL DR namespace. I only created the namespace in the destination cluster. So the idea is I'm going to do disaster recovery, from the MySQL namespace to the MySQL DR namespace between two different OpenShift clusters. And one can be OpenShift 4.14, and the destination can be OpenShift 4.16. So you are not only doing disaster recovery, but you can also do testing if the upgrade between 4.14 to 4.16 is going to be good for your MySQL application, okay? So I'm going to have here a watch of what I'm doing in my two cluster with the MySQL and MySQL DR, okay? So I'm going to define the application for Trident Protect. So to do that, I have to create this manifest, the application manifest, just to say, okay, I want to have a new application to protect that I call MySQL. This MySQL application is going to contain the MySQL namespace, all the Kubernetes resources, and the PVCs that are under the MySQL namespace, and you can put a list of namespaces here, 10, 100 namespaces, whatever you want to define as your application that you want to protect. And I'm going to...
Can you filter those objects as well? So you can only select a subset. I only want secrets, config maps, pods, and PVCs.
Yeah. You can do this filtering using labels, and you also using the group version kind. So I just want to protect secrets, all these secrets, or the secrets with this label, or this kind of thing. So you can filter what you want to protect as you want. No? For example, we have customers that they only want to protect PVs because they want to use GitOps or pipelines to redeploy all the Kubernetes resources. So we only protect the PVCs, and it's fine, okay? So we here define the filter to define the application as only PVC application, and that's okay, no problem to do that. So I'm just going to define this application here. So I just have to apply this thing, and then you can check if this application got defined in the API of protect.trident.netapp.io. And as you can see, it's already defined, okay? So the protection is not yet ready because I'm not doing a backup yet, or a snapshot, or scheduling backups and snapshots, or doing any kind of replication. I'm also going to define the application. Yeah, sure.
This might be a strange question, but is there a time where I would want to back up the Kubernetes objects associated with an application, even if it doesn't have PVCs? So basically all of the metadata, but not the persistent data.
Yeah, that's possible. There are a lot of namespaces that are not stateful, are just stateless, and you can use this Trident Protect to protect them because some customers realize that it's faster to restore these stateful applications from the backup than not going through a pipeline, or sometimes letting the Argo CD thing to do the GitOps and making sure that this gets redeployed. So it's depending on the customer situation. Okay, so but yeah, you can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to create also my destination application, the MySQL DR application. So now you can see here that I have in the two clusters, MySQL DR we also have here a Drupal for the other demo. Okay, now the next thing is I want to create a snapshot schedule in the source cluster for the MySQL application. So I have to apply this kind of manifest. So you can see that is of the kind schedule. What I have to define is which application I'm protecting, the MySQL application that I just defined. I'm going to store all the metadata of each snapshot of the global application in my source bucket that I just defined. And I want to do this every 5 minutes, okay? And I want to start as soon as possible. This is the beginning of the 2024 year, okay? And I want to retain 5 snapshots. You can modify all these parameters so you can get. With this kind of snapshot every 5 minutes, I can get consistent snaps of my MySQL application because I can apply execution hooks to freeze the MySQL during the seconds of the snapshot. And then I'm getting, a recurrent of snapshots. And these snapshots are going to contain the metadata in the bucket, but also are going to be CSI snapshots for the PVCs. And we will show that, okay? I'm going to apply this thing. So now we have applied. If we take a look to the schedule, it's enabled, okay? The granularity is custom because it's every 5 minutes. If I'm starting to do snapshots, let's see if these snapshots appear, okay? And as you can see, some of the snapshots have been removed, okay, of a previous demo that I did. So we need to see if there is new snapshots appearing here, okay? If we get directly the volume snapshot, there is no snapshot done yet, okay? So we have to wait for this to kick off, okay? And then in the meantime, I'm going to take a look to the application that I'm protecting in the source cluster because I need a parameter here. Okay, so if you see the definition of the application that I just defined in my SQL application, I'm going to grab this UID, okay, because I'm going to need it to define the snap mirror, the replication relationship. So here I have my YAMLs. I'm going to modify the YAML in the meantime for the app mirror relationship. So I just have to change the UID of the application to make sure that I'm doing disaster recovery of this unique application in the source cluster, okay? Well, because I can have 1,000 applications. Now that I'm here, I want to show this app mirror relationship custom resources. So I just have to put a name. The desired state is how, in this declarative way, how I would like to have my replication relationship in a final state, and I want to be established. I have to provide all the information about a destination bucket, a source bucket, okay, to have these two buckets, and Trident Protect is going to replicate all the metadata between these two buckets to have the latest version of the Kubernetes resources in the two buckets. The name of the source application, the UID of the source application, I can change the storage class in the destination, but it has to be a NetApp storage class. And also the namespace mapping. So I'm going to do disaster recovery from the MySQL in the source cluster to the MySQL DR in the destination cluster. And I'm going to use the same frequency of replicating snapshots every 5 minutes, okay? So I'm just
to make sure I'm understanding what we've looked at so far. So top half is source application, and we've defined kind of two things primarily. So one is the application. So what are the Kubernetes objects that make up that application? And then two is how do I protect the things associated with that application? So the Kubernetes objects, secrets, deployment definitions, config maps, etc., as well as the PVCs and the content of those PVCs. And I'm assuming, so with the PVCs or the volumes backing the PVCs, it's a snap mirror relationship. And then for the other metadata, I'm guessing it's S3 or something like that. It's an object store that holds that.
It's object store are buckets in object store, storing the YAMLs, the metadata, the Kubernetes resources. Yeah.
Okay. So we've established that here's my application. I'm backing it up to this location. And now on the recovery side, which is the bottom set of windows, we're saying, hey, there's this application that's out there. Please prepare, more or less, the established thing. Prepare to restore this application here. And
exactly.
I'm guessing what that does is it kind of sets up a schedule for doing things like refreshing those objects from the S3 store for all of those metadata things, as well as bringing in the PVCs. We don't refresh. We don't have to worry about replicating the data because that's being handled by the storage system.
Exactly. You got it perfectly. Yes, exactly that. Thank you for the very better explained summary of what I'm doing.
Oh, no, you did fine. I'm trying to summarize because it's funny. You know, I've been doing Kubernetes and OpenShift for a long time, and like we think a lot of times in YAML, and I'm just plugging things together to make sure that it all makes sense because, as I said earlier, I make many mistakes. Sometimes I make assumptions, and they're not always right. So I want to make sure.
Good. Thank you for that. So I'm already applying this app mirror relationship in the destination cluster, so I can have an object that is establishing the replication relationship. So we can also use the, abbreviation of the application mirror relationship, that is the AMR. And as you can see now, the application relationship is established. If we take a look of what is happening behind the scenes, now in the MySQL DR namespace, we have a new PVC that was created 66 seconds ago that is containing the replicated data, okay, of the MySQL in the source, okay? So we have the MySQL with my database, PVC in the source cluster, and this is getting replicated with Delta snapshots every 5 minutes to my SQL DR PVC in the destination cluster, okay? So you can see that. We can also take a deeper look to this. So, for example, you can see what is going on in this app mirror relationship. The last transition is that the replication is established. We are transferring, and the latest transfer snapshot is one that it has this Greenwich time. Okay, so in the 54 minutes. No, if we take a look to 5 minutes later, we can see now that we are going to replicate another one, not yet. Okay, I also want to see if now we have volume snapshots. As you can see, we are having CSI snapshots available here that are, the ones that are getting replicated, no? The last one 3 minutes ago. If we do the same here in the destination cluster, OpenShift cluster, we won't be able to see any snapshots because these snapshots are getting replicated by the storage subsystem. So the replication snapshot, OpenShift is not aware that there is a replication snapshot getting replicated from A to B. No? So it's Trident, the one that is applying the latest snapshot to the PVC to get it all the time replicated every 5 minutes. Okay, just to finish the demo, I'm going to do failover, and for the failover, as I said, in the destination cluster, I just have to edit my application mirror relationship in the namespace Trident Protect. Here you have the details of the app mirror relationship, and I'm going to change the desired state from established to promote. Okay, and what is going to happen? Okay, is this is going to trigger at Trident Protect level the failover. I'm going to test the failover of my MySQL application. I'm going to promote the MySQL application in my disaster recovery or secondary cluster. Okay, so now here you will be able to see how all the Kubernetes resources of MySQL get deployed, and they are connected to the persistent volume claim that is now promoted and is now mounted in read-write, so it can be accessible by the MySQL, WordPress MySQL deployment. Okay. Okay.
And when you do that, does it
crash loop back off? Okay. I hope that it gets running. Okay. In 1 second.
So,
sorry. Yeah.
So when you do this, when you promote it, we didn't stop the source one. So
no,
does it continue to replicate in the background? Like, am I still protecting the source application?
I'm with this test failover exercise, I'm breaking the replication relationship. So now the replication is broken, and I'm promoting the Trident, the persistent volume in the disaster recovery side, so it can be mounted in read-write and it can be accessible by the WordPress MySQL pod. Okay, so that's the idea. No? So I test the application, and when I finish testing the application, everything is good. I finished this. I tested the disaster recovery, and then I can go back to re-establish the application relationship. Okay, so as you can see, the gods of the demo are not with me today, so this is not behaving well. The pod is not starting well. I don't know why. Sorry for that.
Johnny's curse is rubbing off on you, Luis.
Thank you, Sully. So
it's true.
Just to, if you want to stop the failover testing, so you can do failover testing or you can do forceful failover. So you can make sure if this is not stopped because there was a disaster, you can forcefully stop it. Okay, by the automated disaster recovery, and then only have this copy down here. Okay, if we want to come back to the original point, we just have to change again this desired state from promoted to established. Okay, editing the application mirror relationship, and then all these things will disappear. Okay, so we have the way to do test failover, to do forceful failover, to do reverse replication, so swap getting the destination replicating to the source, so doing failover and doing failback. So all of these things are part of the solution. Okay, so now, as you can see, we are terminating the pod that I don't know why it was in this crashing state. Okay, sorry for that. Any other questions?
The infamous crash loop backup. There could be like a million different reasons. So Peter asked about whether or not it works with virtual machines or OpenShift virtualization.
Yeah, this Snap Mirror part works with OpenShift virtual machines, OpenShift virtualization VMs. Okay. Yes, this is going to be part of the release. Yeah,
and presumably that means you could have different protection, basically RTO, RPO for individual virtual machines as well, because it's controlled on a per PVC basis.
PVC or in the granularity that you prefer. Okay, so it can be in a PVC base, or as I said, you can define an application with 10 namespaces with 100 PVCs, and all the 100 PVCs are going to be replicated with the same frequency and at the same time. Okay, and the snapshots will be done at the same time.
My mind is boggling at the moment, because I mean, it's really cool. And it's years ago, I was a VMware tech marketing person, and I remember when vVols was announced, and like all of these really cool things of being able to apply granular features and replication and like all that other stuff. That's exactly what you're talking about. It's really cool.
Yeah, and for OpenShift virtualization is having the equivalent to the site VMware Site Recovery Manager, the SRM thing. So I believe it's a good thing. No? So we
Cool.
fill the gaps between VMware, what is related to disaster recovery or automated disaster recovery compared to OpenShift virtualization.
Very cool. No, this is great. I remember seeing a different version of this back when we were at Red Hat Summit, and it's still just as cool to me of seeing this. What you don't see, because in my head, again, I was a storage admin, I was a virtualization admin for a long time, and like in my head, I'm trying to plot out like all of the different things that are happening at the OpenShift and at the storage level that are happening here, and like you changed one field, right, from established to promoted and back to established, and there's like 100 things that have all happened behind the scenes, and that's just amazing to me. I love seeing a plan come together. Let's see. Andrew asks, anyone know how much databases like volume snapshots? Pitfalls in data consistency? Are snapshots fully transparent?
Yeah, about that, we have, for providing consistency to the stateful workloads, to the databases, we develop, open source project called Verda. Okay. This basically is something supported and maintained by NetApp. We provide samples of scripts to provide application consistency for the most popular stateful applications. So it's very similar to the project that Beam created, a custom created with Canister. Okay, in a slightly different way. So for example, we are protecting a MySQL, and we want to make sure that the MySQL is consistent when I'm doing these delta snapshots every 5 minutes. So I can come here to this Verda project that I'm going to put here in the chat. Okay, and you can
Jonny already beat you to it. Yeah, Jonny already posted the link. He already beat you to it.
Okay, so yeah, I can take a look to a sample of a script to provide application consistency for MySQL or MariaDB. Okay, so you can take a look to the script to see if it's okay for your application, for your MySQL, and use these arguments pre-snapshot and post-snapshots to freeze and thaw or quiesce and unquiesce MySQL database. And you can also improve the script and contribute back. Yeah, that's the reason is open source, guys. Okay, so you have these samples completely at your disposal. Okay, and they need some update. Okay, as you can see here. Okay.
I didn't know that any of this existed. That's awesome. Nothing.
Verda is protect in all Norse, just to go with the Viking ship, okay, story that we have in the back of my background. Okay, sorry.
That's very cool. I don't see any other questions popping up. So I know we're just after the top of the hour, and I can see the clock in the corner of your screen there, Luis, which says it's just after 6 p.m. in the evening for you. So I don't want to keep you too much longer. But I do want to point out that I know you're happy to answer questions if anybody has any here in the last few minutes. So this has been really incredible. It's been I was talking with a coworker of mine who's visiting here in Raleigh. I'm in the tower today from the West Coast of the U.S. He's like, I just found out that we started on the same day here at Red Hat. It was 6 years ago. I just crossed 6 years, which is just crazy to me.
Absolutely.
So it's been 6 years since I was involved in any of the Trident stuff, any of the NetApp stuff, and it's super interesting to me to see how it's all evolved and just all of the capabilities that are there now. And as Peter loves to point out, virtual machines, NetApp and virtual machines go way back. That was my role at NetApp. I was a tech virtualization, tech marketing person. So, yeah, so thank you so much for joining us today, Luis. I really appreciate showing us the demo and showing us what this looks like. It's exciting to me to see all of this come together. So,
Nice. Thank you for having me, by the way. Okay, so happy to participate.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and pronounce this name, Renault, I think. Any plans for live migration between clusters using the MTV operator without downtime?
Very good request. Okay, so just trying to have a kind of similar to a storage vMotion, I'm guessing, of VMware, equivalent to VMware storage vMotion. We are starting to explore this kind of things. So here the challenge is keep online the virtual machine in OpenShift virtualization when we are doing the replication and the failover. Okay, so it's a bit challenging, but we are starting to explore these things because our gaps between, I don't know, VMware and OpenShift virtualization that we would love to help Red Hat covering, okay, because we have a great alliance and a great collaboration. So we will be happy to help covering those gaps between Broadcom, VMware, and OpenShift virtualization.
Yeah, I know. So Renault, please send me an email about that. We can connect with the OpenShift virtualization product team and basically get you a response on that. I don't know whether or not that's on the roadmap or anything like that at this point. Off the top of my head, I can think of some complications there. Not the least of which is
not
easy. You have to have effectively the same PVC in two different clusters, which is like a weird super RWX, and like transferring the state of the VM is arguably the easiest part. It's the, or I say the memory state and the running state, but like IP address changes and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't know. I'd be curious to see what the product team has to say. So please do send me an email. Sully.
We still need some things, like global persistent volumes or DR persistent volumes or this kind of objects that they don't exist yet in the Kubernetes API.
I mean, something like this, you're talking just a couple of minutes of downtime effectively in order to transfer a virtual machine. Because if essentially you protect the application, which is really a virtual machine, you allow it to replicate, and then you restore the virtual machine on the destination side. So it would be whatever that replication window is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So okay. So with that, I don't have anything else to ramble on about. Well, I mean I do, but nothing anybody wants to listen to. So, Jonny, any thoughts, concerns, questions?
No, I've just been like a sponge to this. Like I was telling Luis when we first started, like I don't have any experience with NetApp or anything like that. So, or even like Trident, other than like everything we've done has been in the cloud, and never really had anybody using Trident and Kubernetes, but at least when I was doing it. So it's cool to hear all the features, and it was actually a cool demo. And yes, you fell into the Jonny trap of demo failure, which is amazing. The only thing I wanted to point out about like the configs that you're making, like Andrew made a point, like you're only updating like a couple of fields at a time. And so like when you think about that from an automation perspective, right? Like you can patch those either through a pipeline, or you can update a git config and have your GitOps controller roll it out and stuff like that. So like there's multiple ways other than hand jamming that you can make those changes. So just don't, if you're locked in on that, don't get locked in on that. Just understand that they're in unique fields, so that way you can actually patch them and roll them out with whatever your automation platform is.
Yeah, pick on Ansible for a moment, right? So Ansible automation platform can you do all of those things that you just saw with Ansible? Absolutely, right? There's NetApp modules for Ansible. There you can go out and set up the replication and all of that other stuff. Same thing with Kubernetes objects and all that. Or it's patching, one file, one object inside of Kubernetes that handle it. So yeah, it's definitely lots of ways to solve that problem. It's the one that's best for you. I've been having a strange number of these conversations lately, so it's definitely
I can imagine.
So with that, for anybody who's still watching live or is watching us after the fact, please don't hesitate to reach out with questions and notes. Please do send me an email with your question, and we'll make sure to plug you in with the product team. If anything comes to mind after the fact, I know many people watch these, hours, days, weeks, months afterwards. Please reach out to Jonny or I, JONNY at redhat.com, or Sully, SULLY at redhat.com. We're happy to take those questions. If we need to, we will bring in Luis and get him to answer those things as well. I know you shared your email address earlier as well, which is luis.rico@netapp.com. So I usually don't ask people to do that. Throw yourself under the bus, but you volunteered, so
No problem, no problem. I'm ready to volunteer. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So with that being said, thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate your time. That's all I got. Jonny, any last words while I figure out which buttons I'm clicking?
Luis, thank you very much for coming on. Like, again, we know it's late where you're at, so we really do appreciate and value the time that you spent with us, and thanks for all the interaction from the audience. It's been outstanding today.
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me. Very happy to be here, and thank you everybody for watching and listening. So thank you.
See everybody next week.